Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the number one sports podcast on the entire planet. I'm your host, Drake Tharp. Man, it's been 4 days since the last podcast, essentially, so not a ton has happened, except some deep, bad NBA playoff games. And by bad, I mean these teams are getting, chippy with one another. They're getting on each other's throats. This NBA playoffs is getting physical. And, the first one I'd like to talk about, the Celtics and the Bucks. These teams are at each other's throats. And quite frankly, it's brought into the question, it's tied 2-2. It's kind of gone back and forth the entire time. But have the Celtics gotten into Giannis's head? We haven't... The narrative for Giannis has always been, nice guy, never gets into trouble, is very respectful towards the officials. This time, we saw a different Giannis last game, and I don't know if it's good for the Bucks. The narrative for Giannis, he's never been the guy that doesn't control the pace of the game. It's always been him who controls it. It's always been, he's the focal point of every game that he's been in. But right now with the Celtics, it kind of seems like they're controlling the pace of the game. They're controlling him. And, and it's causing him, he's picked up techs, dirty play. There's been the video of Jaylen Brown, his neck being grabbed by Giannis and him shoving him off. Marcus Smart trying to help Giannis up and Giannis basically shooing him away. This is a different Giannis that we're seeing, and I personally don't know if it's good for the Bucks. Personally, this the point I'm seeing is that this is a turning point in Giannis's career. This is the first time that he's ever had to fight back and, where he's not controlling the pace of the game. Through the Eastern Conference play of the prior years, we've seen Giannis basically be the focal point of every conference battle versus the Heat. He got bounced the COVID year by the Heat, and then he came back and controlled the pace of the game. After that, in the NBA Finals with the Suns, down 2-0, he comes back, makes the game about him, plays at his pace of the game. So, physicality-wise, in the Suns matchup, they weren't, physical enough with Giannis, and that's why they lost. But the Celtics, they have no problem with physicality. And, these guys are going to fight back. The Suns, on the other hand, they're just a good basketball team. There's nothing gritty about them, I'd say. But with the Celtics, they're all defense. They got a lot of dogs on that squad. This is the first time in Giannis' career. Are we going to see him fold, or are we going to see him come back and fight? Because he picked up a technical foul, after a dunk on Al Horford. Al Horford comes back, dunks right back onto him, picks up his own tech. These Celtics are controlling the pace of the game. They're dogs. They know what they're doing. And personally, this is the first time in Giannis' career where I'm saying, hey, he's going to have to flip a switch. And, he's always had that switch flipped on since he's a human cheat code and can basically do anything. But, are we going to see a different breed of this guy where he's not caring about anything, where he's not the nice guy? The Celtics are that team to get into his head. So right now, to make himself in that top player conversation, right now he's the best player in the league. We know that. But to get to that all-time status, MJ has that switch. LeBron has that switch. I don't think we've seen Giannis's switch yet. I really don't, because, he's gonna pad his stats, but in the actual game with physicality and teams pushing his buttons, we really haven't seen that in his career. So I don't know how he's gonna respond, but this is the point in his career where his response means everything, and we've never seen, teams get into his head like the Celtics have. So. Personally, I think the Celtics have gotten into Giannis's head. He's not doing stuff that he normally would, picking up techs, sportsmanship, not being helped up by other guys. Marcus Smart tried to help him up on a play where they were both down, and he essentially laid on the floor the entire time. So Giannis's head, are the Celtics living rent-free? We will see here in the upcoming playoff games. Let's flip it to the Western Conference here. Is Luka changing the tide in Dallas? They're actually competing with the Phoenix Suns, and I think this could actually be an upset alert, maybe, possibly. Dallas has always been that team, that's been there, but we all know they're not going anywhere. That's how they've been over the last 3 years. Luka hasn't, he has his own switch. He hasn't flipped it. He's a great stat patter. He's a great, team leader and all that. But they don't have that dog mentality until I've seen, guys like Jalen Brunson taking a critical step up, becoming that second guy to score. Dorian Finney-Smith hitting down threes. The Tide in Dallas, it seems to be changing. They look like competitors. They've always been that team, that, ISO ball with Luca, hope that they score more than the next opponent. But they are playing solid defense against, one of the best coach teams in the entire National Basketball Association. So I'd really, this is a point in Luka's career, just like Giannis's, to where he can make that next step up. I feel like there's a lot of younger guys' legacy on the line here. I'd like to focus more on the younger guys in the league here because these guys are next up. Once LeBron, KD, Kawhi, Harden, all those guys are out of the league, these are the next guys up, and we're going to be talking about them till I'm in my 30s. These are the guys I'm going to be, raising my kids with, telling them about. So Luka changing the tide in Dallas. This is a focal point of his career, just like Giannis is. Is he going to flip that switch? It's the perfect time to do that. You have the Chris Paul-led Suns, kind of a passing of the torch complex. I'd like to see it. I'd really like to see it. Luka deserves a ring. He's a phenomenal player. And we can't just keep seeing these older teams, ring competing, like the Warriors, their schemes are all there. We want to see the young guys take over. We kind of saw it last year with Trae Young leading the Hawks all the way to the conference finals. So, and Devin Booker essentially becoming, the main guy for the Suns. These young guys are taking over, but I want to, Giannis has become the face of the league now. And, it's a turning tide, but I want to see that completely change over. It's kind of hard to say. I don't want to see LeBron and KD in the playoffs, but these are the guys, that my kids are going to grow up on. So I want to see that same legendary status that LeBron, KD that they have from these guys. And I know Giannis and Luka are the next faces of the league. These are going to be the guys that are running it. So, and guys like Trae Young, Devin Booker, these are going to be the guys. So, it's probably good for the game that this is happening. And seeing 24, 25-year-olds running teams into the NBA Finals. And, yeah, I think it's very good for the game. It could happen with Dallas and the Celtics, too. They're a young squad with Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum's one of those guys that could be running the league, too. So I'd like to see it. I'd like to see the turning point. I want to see the elite talent of the younger guys take over from, the guys that have been there like KD and LeBron. I'd like to see it, personally. Let's jump over to the NFL here. Baker Mayfield. There's a lot with this. I'm just basically going to say this with Baker Mayfield. So they signed Deshaun Watson, of course, and he is he's either going to be let go, traded, or he's going to sit out the whole year. Every sign that points to what the right decision is pointing towards sitting out for the year. Basically, the only problem with this is if Baker Mayfield has zero patience or can't wait at all to play. But I don't see Baker like that. First of all, the Browns owe Baker Mayfield $18 million no matter what, okay? He's either going to get traded and someone's going to take on that money. So, the Browns can keep him, pay him his money, or find a suitor who's going to pay him. Either way, he's getting paid. There's no guarantee that Deshaun Watson plays. So Baker Mayfield, with Deshaun Watson's pending allegations and suspension coming through, Baker Mayfield, there's no guarantee that he doesn't play at all this year. And he could fight for that. I mean, I don't think he should have to fight for that starting job. I mean, he led Cleveland to an AFC divisional round playoff. So he's not a pushover. I don't understand the whole concept after 1 year of Baker playing. He didn't have a terrible year even. But the narrative has become that Baker can't lead this team. He led them to the AFC divisional round 2 years ago, and then they missed the playoffs this year based on, a bunch of divas in the locker room. Baker knows it's his last year in Cleveland either way, and he's still getting paid. So you either sit this one out, get paid, know your role, and stay confident, which he definitely should, because he knows he's a competitor, and he knows in his heart of minds that he led this team to the AFC divisional round. He put up essentially the same stats as he did that same year, so it's not his problem. And, he would not be traded to a contender if he was traded. So if he has an imbalanced patience problem, that's the only way stopping him from getting, traded now. I think he should take a step back, sit out this year, weigh his options, and, get paid and understand that I did all I could with this team. So, but now they have Deshaun Watson. Understand that Deshaun Watson is leagues above Baker Mayfield. So, yeah, they owe him money. I don't understand, the whole rush on a trade unless he really wants to play. So, all signs point to him staying with the Browns for this year. We can run through our best suitors for Baker Mayfield, but he shouldn't go anywhere. He really shouldn't. Yeah, and I really think all signs, he's getting paid. He knows what he's done for that organization. There's no guarantee that, Deshaun Watson still could get suspended, and Baker could prove his point here. This is, there's a lot of things that could happen. It's day by day. Yeah. So, all signs point to Baker staying. I really think he should. He's getting his money paid. He knows his worth, and there's no guarantee that he doesn't play. So, yeah. Those are just my thoughts. It's a very boring take. I know we want to see Baker Mayfield, but he should stay with the Browns, to be completely honest. So Tom Brady, it's his he retired and then came out of retirement, and he's looking to play this year. But Tom Brady just signed a 10-year deal with Fox Sports. First thing I thought of, okay, so if he's signing this deal, he's basically doing exactly what Drew Brees did with NBC, and saying, this is my last year. I'm going to the analyst side after this. The first thing I thought of, this is Brady's last year of his career. You don't retire, then unretire, then the next, and then play like 3 more years. I've never seen anyone do that. First of all, you never see really anybody retire and then unretire. But we can hint that this is Brady's final year in the league, and now he's moving on to be the greatest of all time of NFL analytics. Does Brady have the potential to be the greatest NFL analyst of all time? We know how good Romo is on the commentary table, and Romo wasn't even, he was above average, but he's no GOAT. Drew Brees, smart guy, but Brady, another level, and we know he could talk. Could Tom Brady be the next face of the commentary table? He already is. He knows the game. He's a genius. Best analyst of all time? Who knows? Yeah, so we can hint that this is Brady's final year in the league. Thank God, finally. It's 45. This has got to be it for him. If he doesn't win a ring, he's done. Even if he does win a ring, it's the, right off into the sunset sort of deal. So, for the finale of the show, speaking of Tom Brady, we have our top 5 quarterbacks. I've seen a lot of these lists running around from, casual fans to the shows on Fox Sports. Top 5 quarterbacks in the league heading into next season. I've seen these lists. Who are the best guys? And I see the names: Joe Burrow, Lamar, Derek Carr. I don't think any of those guys are on this list. My top 5 is, I believe it's undisputed. I really don't think you can argue this. The top 4, very much so. But the 5th one is kind of disputable, but I don't think it's disputable. Number 5, I got Justin Herbert. This guy, if you watch him compared to any, latter half quarterbacks in the league, they turned the Chargers around. He completely turned the Chargers around in less than 2 years. His arm talent is insane. He has the best accuracy. Some of the throws he makes, I'm in awe. My jaw drops. I'm taking him over Joe Burrow and Lamar. I really think we've seen Lamar's ceiling his MVP year. And Joe Burrow, as much as, as props you can give him for making the Super Bowl with that Bengals squad, I believe it was game plan and situational coaching that led them to the Super Bowl. I really believe that the Bengals Super Bowl, contendership was kind of a fluke. And if I'm going to be completely honest, I don't see it happening again soon. It's good to see, Cincinnati being brought to the Super Bowl, but man, that was weird. They go to overtime with the Chiefs, force Mahomes to throw an interception, and their pass defense isn't anything to write home about. So, I think it's all game plan and situational where they just got lucky half the time, and I don't put a lot of that on Joe Burrow. He's a winner, but but I'm taking Herbert's arm talent over him any day. Yeah, Justin Herbert at number 5. We're not even close to seeing Herbert's ceiling, I don't think, and he's turned that Chargers offense around. And they picked up a lot of defensive players through the draft and through free agency, and they were mostly shootouts last year. You know, they were giving up 40 points almost every other week, but you know, they were putting up 40 points every other week. So, and mostly due to Herbert. And yeah, in the beginning of the season, we were talking Justin Herbert MVP, and yeah, so Justin Herbert, number 5, easily for me. The next 4 down, completely undisputable. Don't argue with me on these because whatever different opinion you have is wrong. Number 4, Josh Allen, best deep ball in the league. His arm talent is second to none. You can argue that Mahomes has a better deep ball, but Josh, during the half the time, it was just chucking it down the Tyreek Hill. Josh Allen has the most throw power in the league. He's one of the most versatile QBs. This guy's a winner. He's a very good scheme quarterback. He can make any throw on the field. We know what Josh Allen's about. I got him at number 4. Number 3, I got Tom Brady. It's the GOAT. No debate here. He's a bona fide winner. The only reason he's not number 2 is because of his age, and it's his last year. We know what. We know what Tom Brady's about. He's the GOAT. I got him at number 3. Number 2, Aaron Rodgers. I'll say this and I'll keep saying this. Aaron Rodgers is the most talented quarterback in the NFL. There's no throw that he can't make. The only reason, he hasn't had success, I will give this to him, is because of his receiving core, defense, coaching, Green Bay screwing him over. So we'll see if he continues with lack of receivers, but he's the most talented quarterback I've ever seen in my life. He's not the greatest quarterback of all time, mostly because of situational stuff and, his will to win. I think Tom Brady has more of a will to win over him. But Aaron Rodgers is going to get his regular season stats and then choke in the playoffs again. But I got him at number 2. He's the most talented quarterback in the league. Number 1, Patrick Mahomes, best arm talent in the league and the highest ceiling. I don't think Patrick Mahomes is done developing. You give him any sort of receiving core, and he's going to thrive with it. He can make any throw on the field. The upside on him with Rodgers is his mobility. I give him mobility and coaching. And Mahomes is that guy you want to build around. With the Chiefs, I don't think there's as much you can do with Aaron Rodgers as you could with Patrick Mahomes, mostly because of arm talent and mobility. Essentially, Patrick Mahomes, he's not done. We know Mahomes is godly talented, so I have him at number 1. I don't think his ceiling is up. We've seen Rodgers and Brady's ceiling, and Patrick Mahomes has the receiving talent along with that and the stats. So I got Patrick Mahomes number 1. Those are my top 5 quarterbacks in the league. I've been seeing the list floating around. Everyone's starting to talk about it for some reason, so I thought I'd make mine. Anywho, that will do it for the show today. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Kind of a short notice, so not a lot of huge, big takes per se. It's been 4 days since my last episode, so it's kind of tough putting together an episode, but we're on time again. And yeah, expect some different content upcoming here soon. I'm trying to make a different video here within the next week besides the podcast. So yeah, stay tuned. Hit that subscribe button, please, and like the video. And I will see you guys next time. Peace.